Here, poet says that depression has weakened his power of imagination, which was provided to him at the time of his birth. Okay, so he has lost his power of creative imagination, and now he says that he has learned to be still and patient. He has learned to be calm and patient, and he believes in a different kind of philosophy now about nature and man. And he says that at that time, okay, when he was inspired and motivated, and when he had this powerful imagination, so at that time this imagination was his sole treasure. Okay, and now he says that now he is under a lot of burden of the misfortunes, and it has become his habit to live like this. Okay, to live with this feeling of anguish and pain. Come to the next line. Now he's talking about the poisonous thoughts which are there in his mind, which are weighing upon his mind. These poisonous thoughts are like reality's dark drain. Now he wants to divert his attention from these sad thoughts, and he wants to listen to the wind which is blowing unnoticed by him. And now he notices that the sound created by the wind is like the sound of a tortured sound created by a tortured man. Okay, a sound of agony created by a tortured man. And now he says, now he's addressing the wind. Okay, he's addressing the wind directly, and there's a personification of the wind, and he says that why don't you blow against uh, infertile rock, or a mountain lake, or a tree which is blasted by the lightning, or pine trees which are not visited by any woodman, or a lonely house which is considered to be haunted. Now he says, I think that these are better places for you to visit rather than creating such a bad sound. Come to the next line. Now he calls the wind as mad musician, and he says, "Oh, in this month of showers of dark brown gardens, they are dark brown gardens and peeping flowers, make us devil's yule." Now he says that the sound created by the wind is like the sound created by a devil who is celebrating Christmas. Yule is Christmas among the blossoming flowers, birds, and trembling leaves. Now he calls this, wind as actor, perfect in creating tragic sounds. And now he calls this wind as mighty poet, in a frenzy mood. Okay, and is bold. What tells thou now about? Now he says what kind of story this wind is telling. It is of the rushing of an host in rout, with groans of trampled man with smarting wounds. Now he says that the sound created by the wind is like the groaning sound created by the retreating soldiers who have got defeated in battle, and they are coming back and they have fresh wounds. Okay, and they are crying out in pain. So he is comparing the sound of the wind with the sound created by these wounded soldiers. At once they groan with pain and shudder with the cold. So these soldiers who are groaning in pain, or crying out in pain, and they are trembling with the cold. Now come to the next lines. Now he says, but hush, okay? Keep quiet. There's a pause of deepest silence. Now he takes a pause, and he says that the noise of rushing crowd with groans and the tremulous shudderings, all is over. The noise which was created by the wind, okay, and the groans of the soldiers, okay, is over now. And now this wind is telling another story, and less loud sound. Okay, uh, tail less, less fearful, and is mixed with delight. Now he compares the sound created by the wind to the sound created by one of the character in Thomas Otway's poem, a little girl, okay, who has lost her way, and she is in the woods, and not she's not very far from home, but she's crying out in the woods as she has lost her way, and she's uh, you know she's crying, and she expects that her mother would listen to her and would come and save her. So he compares the sound created by the wind to the sound created by this little girl who has lost in the woods. Come to the next lines. So now poet says that it is midnight, but he is not able to sleep. Okay, and but he wishes his friends to have sound sleep. Okay, and now he is addressing sleep. Okay, to visit her friend. Okay, Sarah Hutchinson, with wings of healing to comfort her. And now he says, now he prays that let this storm be a mountain birth. Okay, let the stars, you know, bright brighten her dwelling where she is living, silent as though they watched the sleeping earth. So these stars are witnessing people who are sleeping on the earth. With light heart may she rise. So when she wakes up the next morning, her heart, should be light, in a gay mood. Okay, and she must have cheerful eyes. Okay, and she should feel the joy. Okay, within her. Her voice should be, beautiful. To her may all things live from pole to pole, their life the adding of a living soul. Now he says that all the living creatures on this earth, endow their life to this woman. And now he calls this woman having a simple spirit, and she has the guidance from gods, guided from above. What does it mean? That she has some kind of heavenly, kind of inspiration she has from heaven. Dear lady, friend devout of my choice, now you say that you are, good friend of mine, and thou mayst thou ever evermore. Now he's hopeful that, now he's praying that she remains happy always, she remains cheerful always.